Good afternoon, Happy New Year and welcome to Cobham RFC. A couple of weather-driven technical difficulties bring you to us late, so we'll get right into the teams because they're about to go off. Here is your Quins team to take on Gloucester in the Premiership Rugby Under-18 League. It is a new year, but the same ambitions harboured. Win the league, make a name for yourself. Quick glance at the Gloucester side as well, with a few standouts there. Jack Cotgrave and Harrison Bellamy set to make their debuts with more firepower from the bench. But we'll take you right to the action now, with Gloucester in possession in their own half here at Cobham. And the first boot to ball from scrum half Charlie Rainbird, with the shock of blonde hair in the 9 jersey for Gloucester. Both these teams looking for their first victory of the academy campaign. The front runners Saracens are the team to chase down, with the likes of London Irish, who both these sides have faced and lost to, ahead of them in the pecking order. Harlequins picked up a losing bonus point in what was an agonising loss against Irish at Hazelwood. They led for much of the game. It was a fast start, but eventually pegged back by the Irish. And the conditions that day were a lot more favourable than they are this afternoon. Really rain, travelling left to right on a pretty horizontal plane. The wind in the back of the Quins players, and that's why Josh Bellamy's kick into space and into the Gloucester backfield just got that extra gust. Picked up an extra roll, and that is why we find ourselves here with a Gloucester scrum on the Quins 22. Big blindside to work with, although the way that Gloucester are set up at the moment doesn't look like they'll be using it. It's Gloucester backline with halfbacks Charlie Rainbow and Woody Walker, a land of giants, real tall, rangy runners, but I'm assured that they can all play. But this is Naquan Smith showing his power from the base in reverse and really getting some good go forward. The captain on the ball, Mikey Nixon, newly installed. Max Knight leading the side in their opening 2 rounds, but a penalty at the breakdown, the jackal area, is going to be key on an afternoon like this. And judging by the congratulations, it was Lucas Schmid quickest to clamp down, and Bellamy kicks a streaky one low and unattractively. Does turn Johan Jones, who's got a fair bit of excitement behind him. That kick unorthodox, and does get away with it though, just held up in the wind and then wrestling his man out into touch. So a glimpse of the impact that these conditions could well be having on the match today. Didn't really get to give you much colour on these teams, but Quins have stolen it, although Mikey Nixon is quickest to respond. Gloucester back in attack. A lot of under 17s in this side, a lot of youthful prospects, and some pulling on the Gloucester Academy jersey for the first time in their career. So just a brief injury stoppage that'll give us a good opportunity to go through these teams and give you a little bit more colour. So the home side, Quins, well, Jared Mullen and Jim Evans have opted for a policy of combinations. Friday and Bellamy, the 2 Trinity halfbacks. Twitchin and Staples, the 2 Seaford scrum boys. And Theo Curry and Hal Kennedy may not be going to the same schools together, but they certainly put in a good, strong performance against London Irish last time they met. You look to the bench, you got the Gordons boys of Enoch Adai and Zach Stevenson, and certainly one to look forward to is Kit Templey, wearing 22, just feeling his way back after a terrible ACL injury. He performed outstandingly in the under-17 tournament at Malvern last year before that injury, and he's just got enough games under his belt now that he's beginning to find his form. As for Gloucester, well, Charlie Rainbird, we've had his name on our lips a fair bit, an ace winner with Hartbury, second year playing 18s, having played as an under-17, but the one who's getting everyone very excited is Johan Jones, his first appearance for the under-18s academy. He missed out on the opening 2 games because he was in South Africa with the England 18s, and he was there as an under-17, so that's just a hint of how tasty he could be from full-back. And we mentioned Mikey Nixon, the captain, newly installed. He's going to have the reassuring throws of fellow schoolmate Sam Loftus to hopefully get the line out purring all game. So there's a few of the runners and riders for you. Plenty more tales to tell, and hopefully I'll be able to tell them, because currently in this rain my notes are being absolutely decimated. So the rugby will hopefully be doing the talking. It's Joe Pauling who's down at the moment. Cirencester lad, sort of one of these new age second rows who would be just as good at 6, one of the defensive leaders of this Gloucester side. So Matt Teague and Gareth Delve will be eager to see him get up and continue, but it looks by the body language and by his direction that that'll be his last impact on the game. So very sad to see his afternoon curtailed so early. But it does herald the arrival of Bart Godson, tallest in the squad, about 6'6". Line out is really his bread and butter, but a young player who's building his repertoire, just developing those soft hands and beginning to pick some intelligent lines. Well, he's got nearly a full game to show us that repertoire now with that early departure. The game is back underway. Lucas Friday finding Bellamy, and Bellamy's ploy of using this gusty wind in his back to kick continues. Good chase from the Quins back 3. Jack Thomas up fastest, but a penalty for hands in the ruck means that all that good work means an easy exit for Gloucester. Very, very frustrating. You turn Gloucester around, you put the chase in, you apply the pressure, and then soft penalties give them the chance to get out of jail. Again, boot to ball, seeking the corners, seeking green grass, but you do get a roll on these 4G pitches, although Gloucester are happy to play and go from deep. Jones all wrapped up in his 22. Offside at the back foot. Again, a soft penalty for Quins to give away, and an easy exit for Gloucester. And Gloucester again failing to find touch. Bellamy's underneath in, and he slings it to his half-pack buddy Lucas Friday, who puts a bit more air on it, and Quins go to explore the wide channels. Excellent footwork to find some room down that left flank. Jack Thomas, but the touchline beats everybody, and a bit of pressure on the Gloucester line out, and Quins will want to keep their discipline here. 2 penalties given up in quick succession in the 22. It'll be their throw. And really The first true bit of territory to launch an attack. Will Pert-Smith is in at the scrum half position, but the throw not straight. Talking to Jimmy Staples, his Seaford coach, earlier in the week, he was very, very complimentary about the work ethic, the dedication to getting his fundamentals right. So an uncharacteristic flaw in his throwing. And at the moment, Quinn's letting Gloucester off the hook with this raging wind behind their back. The Gloucester scrum struggling under the pressure, but how good does Naquan Smith look from the base at the moment, stealing yards that rightfully weren't his all the way up beyond the halfway line, and just that injection of power and pace puts Gloucester on the front foot. Rainbird digging away at the base. Nixon looking busy already, the captain in this match. The new man, Godsall. Well, it wasn't Godsall, I beg your pardon, it's Ollie Allport. I'm mixing my mullets up. Both headbanded up. It's challenging conditions for a commentator as well as the players here. And another penalty to this Gloucester side. Quinn's just feeding them opportunities to chew off chunks of the touchline and build their way up the field. Huge amount of excitement for the backline on offer for Harlequins today. Suboptimal conditions to maybe release their entire range of skills. It'll have to be the fundamentals. TJ Fanalua up high, and look at that, bringing in the blindside winger. Cotgrave taking some yards, and then it's Smith. This Gloucester power looking impressive at the moment. TJ Fanalua again. Rainbird pulling the strings, finding his captain Nixon. Good connection between those two thus far. There's Allport again. Really physical stuff from Gloucester, but they lose the ball in the contact. And is this a chance for Quinns to go from deep? A little bit more guile on the kick, and asking some questions of Yohan Jones, who confidently just shepherds the ball into touch. Good examination of the Quinns defence in their 22 there. They came up with the big shot to win the collision. But we can already see this Gloucester side comfortable running into shoulders. Fanalua scoops it back, and that's busy play from Owen Popple. Finally, Quinns win themselves a penalty, and they go. Lucas Friday drops it on the toe and asks Jack Thomas to get after it, and he collects it as well, you know. Important tackle into touch. Just meters shy of the line. Real good bit of tempo and variation from Friday. Well, Fanalua could only scoop it back one-handed on the last Gloucester throw. It's looked good so far. Sam Loftus with a pressure throw on his 5 metre. Finds Godsall. Gloucester set up, and on Naquan Smith is a man with an appetite for a carry. Rainbird goes high, held up in the wind. Still alive. Very messy stuff, very, very tricky conditions to be kicking into and then receiving either way. Quinn's throw, 5 metres out, stolen by Gloucester. Brilliant leap from Fanalua. And at the moment, the tail of this half is Quinn's sloppiness in the Gloucester 22. It'll be just scratching at the back of their minds that they've got this healthy win behind them, and thus far they haven't capitalised on it. Well, Lucas Friday snipes from the base, but can only find the touchline. Just thought for a moment that he'd seen a corridor of light.
I was never given one. I wasn't told about one or anything.
Another big throw for Sam Loftus. Misses his man, and looks like Lucas Schmidt is first to react. And that's Quinn's first try. Brilliant stoop down low and pick up from the man who scored against London Irish back in August. And he gets the famous quarters of West London on the board early. Quinn's lead 5-0. No extras added from the boot of Bellamy, who took little time in sizing up the conversion. But a great opportunist score from the number 8. Hasn't been pretty so far from either side, and spoke about the sloppiness of Quinn's. Well, they've capitalised on that error from Sam Loftus, and they do finally find themselves in the lead. Bellamy pumps the ball upfield to the backmen of Gloucester. Here comes Jones, who drops it on the toe, and well, there's an appeal for whether he was impeded, and all these kicks proving so troublesome. Knock on though. Means that Gloucester will have a put in just on the outskirts of the Quinn's 22. It's been a scrum in reverse so far this match, but Naquan Smith has been absolutely fabulous at making the best of a bad situation. He needs to get the ball though. Smith to his scrum half, just forced to squeeze the pass when maybe it wasn't quite on. Good harrying from Lucas Friday. One of the under-17s featuring in this game for Harlequins, alongside Jimmy Staples and Jamie Miller as well. Lots and lots of under-17s as well for Gloucester. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of the 23, so real promise for the future for this Gloucester side, who are looking to rediscover some of their former glory form. They made it all the way to the final back in the 2018-19 season, going down in a bit of an epic against Leicester Tigers at the Stonex. But no wins last year, no wins thus far this season. Looking to their youth to try and breathe new life into this under-18s regime. Penalty to Harlequins after Josh Bellamy's dart. And the same man takes Quins to the doorstep of the Gloucester 22. Clean ball for Quins to create. Schmid firing a big bruising line through the middle, but he gets all wrapped up by Naquan Smith and another Gloucester man. Two to take down the try scorer. Bellamy inside looking for Staples, who drives through for extra metres. Well, just a bit of a slip through the fingers of Ethan Dando, and Jack Thomas was there to mop it up, but referee calling a knock on. These conditions really testing for the handling of both these sides. One player playing alongside Ethan Dando, Sean Kerr in the 12 jersey. A lot of excitement around him for Harlequins at the moment, involved with England 18s, who don't play all that frequently. They played last time in the summer against South Africa, but they have had a training camp in October that a number of players in this match were involved in, Kerr being one of them. Well, Lucas Friday has left his post and he's allowed his opposite number to roam free. Oh, it was on, wasn't it, for Charlie Rainbird as he looked around for his support, which was there in the shape of Steph Gibson. The ball just slipped from his fingers. Big opportunity for Gloucester, gone begging there. Well, Gloucester scrumming the ascendancy this time, but Quins playing very nicely through their backs. Happy to put some air on it despite the conditions, and Jack Thomas has looked elusive every time he's got the ball. Great footwork. That looks like an intentional knockdown, but well, it's actually a knock on by Quins, and from the ensuing melee, no advantage coming. Very stop-start. First real sighting of Quins playing a bit of set piece. They've been so comfortable going to the boot, driving Gloucester back into their half. But with that, a sighting of just how difficult and risky it is to play intoxicating attacking brand that Quins are so revered for. Rainbird sets his backs free as they look to go through the middle through Ollie Rendell. Smith, good footwork. He's got the power as well, and that is excellent over the ball from Will Pert Smith. referee Harry Parsons taking no nonsense. A yellow card to the replacement Bart Godsall. And Gloucester will play the next 10 minutes with 14 men. And if the yellow card wasn't wounding enough, Josh Bellamy finds an excellent touch all the way into the heart of the Gloucester 22. Jimmy Staples, the under-17, with a big throw and finding his man. Up Quins go, wrap around, and there's a big collision between Bellamy and Schmid. They read the move, but here come Quins right through the heart of that Gloucester ruck defence. Metres shy after the curry carry. Wrestling and writhing. Quins want to keep it tight, searching for the line, and they get there. Try number 2 for Harlequins. And Jimmy Staples, the man to come up with the goods. Good tight play from the Quins pack. I mentioned how excited people have been about their backline, but you look at the hard work that their pack have done there, and a few mountainous men as well. Schmid, Seth Ely, Theo Curry, all huge young men, and they had done the dents to create just enough room for Jimmy Staples to wriggle his way across the line for try number 2. And conversion attempt number 2 for Josh Bellamy, having not landed his first. Well, that is an absolute peach from the boots of Josh Bellamy. Quins lead 12 points to 0. Testing kickoff, really competitive, and well, Gloucester have been rewarded. Sam Loftus coming away with the ball before a bit of untidy ball for replacement James Lilwall to deal with. He's on for Rainbird, and Quins are only travelling in one direction at the moment. That is towards the Gloucester try line, and Johan Jones, all he can do is spin and pump it as far as he can into the wind. And Quins, after those 2 tries, certainly up in confidence. And Gloucester very, very much all hands to the pump at the moment, struggling to get any tidy ball for themselves to play with. Well, Quins have done well to retain that. Here's Kerr. Bellamy. Bit of a loose one to his school buddy, Connor Byrne. First time we're saying his name this afternoon. Very, very talented individual at fullback. Schmid doing the unglamorous stuff. Not looked after well enough by the Quins pack. Bellamy gets all wrapped up and he tries his hardest to keep it in play, but just about over the paint. Rucking was good from Quins, but no one looking after it at the back, and while Bellamy arrived, really, really good reactions from Owen Popple. Asked the referee, was it out? Could he go for it? And he didn't need a second invitation. Stolen by Quins. Pert Smith goes on a little charge. Strong counter-rucking from Gloucester, forces the knock-on from Friday. Interesting to see Gloucester make that change. First experience for James Lilwall playing up today, the under 17-year-old. There's been a few injuries in the scrum half department, so he's filling a little bit of an under 18 void. He's probably going to feature later at under 17s. So a busy afternoon for James Lilwall, but a fabulous one too. You always want to be playing up a grade, don't you? And that's no difference when you get to the higher echelons of academy rugby. So under 17 against under 17, Friday v Lilwall. For the first time, gets the backs away. Nice footwork through the middle there from Max Knight. Well, pressure on that pass from Woody Walker. Just turns Gloucester around and creates some more scrappy ball. Quinn's happy to go quickly. Bellamy on the ball. I imagine he'll want to do something. Brilliant kick. Fabulous vision. The chase is on. The collection from Humphreys. Well, the finish was sublime from Humphreys, but it was all about that vision and execution from Bellamy, the quickness of thinking from the line out. Everyone playing their part. Brilliant heads-up rugby from Harlequins. Bellamy can't find the conversion recipe this time from a similar position, but that detracts nothing from the perfectly weighted kick that fashioned the opportunity for Humphreys. Quinn's 17 points to the good. Bart Godsall back on the field. And Lilwall forced to carry. No scrum half at the moment, so in comes Woody Walker. Fanalua. Good yards taken. Bit more aggression coming from Gloucester. Walker goes out the back. More nice hands. Brings in Rendell. Oh, but dropped under pressure. It was penalty advantage though. And Laquan Smith has the ball under his arm. I don't think he's going to be the one kicking into the corner. But I wouldn't rule out a quick tap from him at some stage. He's shown unbelievable power in the collision thus far today. They want to get his hands on the ball as much as possible. Here we go, Gloucester's best opportunity of this half. They don't mind a driving maul. down there at Kingsholm, and they get it rocking and rolling pretty quickly, and then they break away and Quins are splintered. Lilwall nuzzling around, finds Popple, but diving off their feet. Too much gusto in that clear out from the Quan Smith. Off his feet, sealing off. And what looked like such a promising position for Gloucester is thwarted by their own inaccuracy on the clear out. The injured man is Owen Popple. I want him back up and firing. Not the biggest, but very, very strong technically. Adds an awful lot. We've seen his wits are pretty sharp as well in coming through and taking Lucas Friday. But in terms of replacements, Berrien Williams is wearing the 18, the West Walian. Another able scrummager and ball carrier. But there's also the option of Jamie Fallon. He's wearing 16, so he's the designated replacement hooker, but he can actually play across the entire front row. So it'll be interesting to see what Matt Teague and Gareth Dell do here if Popple is deemed not in a position to continue. He's being helped up by 2, which doesn't look very promising, and well, very, very sad to see that. Owen Popple's day looks to be done. Another early retirement for Gloucester. And Bez Williams has replaced him. Closing minutes of the first half here at Cobham. Quins in control. But let's not forget about the very, very favourable prevailing wind that they've had behind their backs for this half. Is 17 points enough heading into this second half? Just see the trouble that the wind is causing on the throw, but Gloucester penalised for an early lift. That's tough on Gloucester and TJ Fanalua. Very, very tough call, in fact. They're wanting to get up there, put some pressure on. It didn't seem too early to me, but as it is, Quins decide to convert the free kick into a scrum. As just a couple of rays of sunshine begin to break through the rain clouds. Maybe we're in for a drier second half. Mercifully, we might be in for a drier second half. We'll have a scrum reset. That went in the tunnel, out the same way. The ball has to travel through the feet of those involved in the scrum. It can't go in the tunnel and come out the same way, and it can't come out the other end. So Lucas Friday will get another opportunity to put it in. And this one's a bit cleaner. Tom Humphreys comes searching for work from his blind side, but he won't get it as Kerr steps inside. Final few moments, Bellamy finding Humphreys. Humphreys goes arcing on the outside and busts a tackle. Beyond the halfway we go. Inside ball, a lot of variation, a lot of power and pace from Quins. Most fluid passage of play that we've seen from Quins. Byrne decides not to give it to his teammate, and he shows and goes, dances inside, and then he finds Friday. Fabulous backline play from Quins. Real fluency to the moves, building up to that break from Byrne. And Friday, like every good scrum half, trailing on that inside support line and gobbling up the offload to score the bonus behind the sticks. Extras added by the boot of Josh Bellamy, and that is half time with Harlequins with a healthy 24 points to nil lead over Gloucester. The conditions have cleared up, but the wind is still gusting through Cobham RFC, and that wind will be behind the Gloucester backs for the second half. 24 points to nil, Harlequins lead. Much to do for Gloucester, but a big 40 remaining for both sides. Well, welcome back to the second half, where Quins have accumulated a healthy lead in the first. Some fabulous tries scored by their free scoring backs as the weather cleared out. One brilliant finish from Tom Humphreys after a Bellamy kick, and one from Lucas Friday to round the half off. So a bonus point secured, a bit of a mountain to climb for these Gloucester boys, and with the sun just breaking through these leaden clouds that have been hanging over us all day here at Cobham, so too has the wind died down, and that advantage of the elements that Quins had for that first 40 minutes not quite as potent for Gloucester. So the elements have moved in the favour of the home side, and what is also in their favour is the first scrum of the second half in a very, very threatening position. It is a prime piece of attacking real estate for Quinn. Big blind side to work with, although Jack Thomas has abandoned his wing post and he's just lurking on the inside left shoulder of Josh Bellamy. Schmid links up with Friday, out the back to Bellamy, and a bit of confusion, not quite the right line from Ethan Dando there. Quins retain possession, and Kerr uses his footwork, then his hands, and Quins are slicing and dicing and searing in out wide. Precision passing, beautiful shapes, and the finish applied in the right hand corner. What a start to the second half from Quins. So no extras to be added to the try, but what a try. And well, the weather's cleared up. My eyesight hasn't entirely cleared up. I think it was Tom Humphries, I've been reliably informed, getting his second of the match. Talented individual, Mr. Humphries. He's captain of Surrey under-18s cricket as well, so an all-rounder, seemingly capable of choosing which sporting profession to pursue. He's made a fine account of himself in the finishing stakes today. Good pressure on Rainbird, who's back on the field at scrum half. Gloucester just seeking some continuity, seeking some concerted time on the ball and making some meters, but running into some tough shoulders. The replacement Williams fell by some strong defence. Little snipe from Rainbird. Most phases put together so far by Quins. The counter ruck was strong, but in at the side. Jones finds a good touch. Good position for Gloucester here. We saw at the end of the first half some good, strong, driving more play from them. They lost their composure, went off their feet on one of the ruck clear-outs from the resulting phases. But certainly they showed themselves to be potent in this driving maul department, and they're doing so here, rolling round the corner, and Quinn scrambling, the referee down low and awarding the try. Gloucester get their score. It all comes together for them finally. Looks like it was replacement hooker Jamie Fallon. And that'll really boost the confidence of the visitors. They've given us moments, haven't had enough that have built into one another, but maybe that's the score to get them going today. And a fine kick to boot means the try is maximised. Gloucester have a converted try. And do they have renewed hope of chasing down this Quins lead? (29-7) Harlequins lead. Mikey Nixon with the take. Fanalua looked really busy all afternoon. Very versatile in his offering. You'll recognise the name if you're a Cherry and White, son of Terry, one of the Gloucester greats. But making his own name today, TJ, in a very busy performance. Another stoppage right here for Mikey Nixon, the Tommy Richards boy. Comes from a developing line of Nixons. Brother Rob, he was in the academy last year. He's an old head on young shoulders, is Mikey Nixon. One of those leaders who leads by deeds and character rather than words. Well respected in the group and the coaching staff and his team will be eager to get him up and back into the action, and like any good tough as teak second row, that's what he does. Back in amongst his pack, and there's a bit of pep in the Gloucester step, and certainly in that of Jamie Fallon, the try scorer. Bundle of energy is Fallon. We've seen him score already, and now he needs to find his darts, but there's a real breakdown in communication there. Not his fault. I think there needs to be a bit more clarity on who's going up. Gloucester very lucky to be getting that throw again, usually a free kick. So take two. Oh, goes to the back but doesn't find Nixon, and knocked on. Just these inaccuracies hurting Gloucester at the moment. Their opportunities have been few and far between, and when you look at the game as a whole, probably have to identify the execution levels of Harlequins as the defining factor. They haven't been at their most precise either, but certainly in the latter stage of that first half, when they struck decisively. Those Humphreys tries, the Friday one to close out the half, didn't fluff their lines when opportunity knocked. Well, too much messing around means a free kick to Quins, and they're off and away and seeking the edges as they do. Look at the speed injected into the back line there. Across the halfway line they go. Oh, big shot on Hal Kennedy. Picked up and put down by two Gloucester red jerseys. Bellamy forced to go to the boot. Oh, misjudged uncharacteristically by Jones, who then recovers. Penalty against Jones as he was scrambling. I think he was licking his lips at the prospect of going on a run. The Quins' defence was a little bit fractured, but he forgot to do the first part. That's catch it cleanly. It's not your out and out sort of gas fullback. He's more of a skillful link play kind of guy, but certainly one that has people talking. But from his error, Quins have a throw on the 5 metre. They go to Kennedy, but Fanalua has been excellent in the line-out. He's been so good at pilfering opposition ball and putting pressure on at the front. Naquan Smith, who was so prominent in the opening exchanges, finally gets his hands back on the ball. Gloucester need to see more of him charging at Harlequins jerseys. Thomas takes it nicely, evades his man, still going, flighty feet and across the 22. Friday with the quick service. Staples, the try scorer, carrying forward. Bellamy linking with his teammates and replacements in the shape of Roma Matabalavu. Quins still in possession, probing the right channel where they scored their try to open the half. A penalty advantage, intentional knockdown, the call from Harry Parsons. And there are a few replacements who've entered the game. I'll try and identify them for you, and there's more jerseys beginning to pour on from the respective benches. So Roma Matabalavu, number 20, bit of an all-action back rower, plays his rugby at Trinity. Trinity, for many people's money, the top-ranked school in the country, defending National Cup champions through to the semi-finals, battle-hardened from their time in Thailand at the World Schools Festival, where they took on the likes of South Africa's Gray's College and Hamilton Boys School from New Zealand. So for the 6 Trinity School personnel in this matchday squad today, a lot of them haven't had much time off from rugby. It's been a pretty professional schedule for them, finishing up the term with victory against Harrow in the Cup, and then going on to Thailand, back to school, and into the academy action right now. Matt Wickham's on in playing scrum half wearing 21. He finds Bellamy, who goes to curve out the back door. Jack Thomas, he likes a bit of space and he likes a fractured defence, and he goes weaving and searching for the line. And has he got there? Yes, he has. A lovely meandering finish from the left wing, who's looked dangerous every time he's got his hands on the ball. Quins delivering on their reputation of exploring wide channels and giving their danger men out wide opportunities to score. (34-7). Quins re-establish their lead. Can Bellamy burnish it further? He hasn't had the most prolific day with the boot, but he gets another shot now. Not to be. But Quins back to a 27-point lead. Very impressive and athletic take by Theo Curry out wide. Quins look to exit, held up in that wind, and Gloucester coming away with it in the hands of the try scorer, who acts pivot. New man on the field, Ollie Thomas, taken by Jack Thomas. Still going Ollie Thomas into the 22. Well, that was untidy by Kit Temperley, and away Gloucester go quickly down the right flank. But going off their feet at the ruck once again, that breakdown in accuracy. Killing Gloucester at the crucial moment. It was the dogged work of Ollie Thomas that got them there. But it's the boot of Bellamy who sends them back. Interesting period coming up for both these sides in terms of the wider under-18s picture. For Quins, they had a 2-day training camp all together at Seaford College just before they broke up for Christmas. That's nice off the training ground, and referee not happy. Not straight on the throw, I think the call there. So it travelled 5, Lovely little bit of deception and link up between Curry and his hooker. But the throw not straight. So yes, Quins, they were together before Christmas, 2-day training camp at Seaford College, and then they've been back since the new year, trained twice this week. No ring rust being shown on them at the moment. Gloucester, very, very similar. 2 training sessions since being back. They're going to move to a 3 training sessions a week regime from here on in. They're going to give the likes of Jones time to build up a bit of telepathy with the rest of his backline, and Jones dropped goals out of frustration, nearly takes Hal Kennedy's head off. All unintentional with no malice. Just been one of those days for Ioan Jones, who I fear I may have referred to as Lloyd a couple of times because of Ioan Lloyd, who plays for Bristol. So Quint at the moment, well placed to be registering their first victory of the campaign. Only played once. They had a bye week in the first round of the under-18 competition. Then they went to Hazelwood and they had that real fight with London Irish all the way to the final whistle, 22-19. They eventually came out second best, having led 19 points to 0. So this will feel good for Quins, a reassertion of their attacking DNA and their intentions to have a strong under-18s campaign this season. Wickham to Bellamy. Haven't seen him do much himself, but he finds Byrne, his schoolmate, who is so elusive and strong. Gloucester do well to contain him. Good strong defence. Whacking Jimmy Staples back. Bellamy switches play back to this left-hand side. Adai. Connor Byrne onto the toe. Lucas Schmid in pursuit and making the tackle. It's really well dealt with by Gloucester. More big collisions coming in. Bodies on the line from all these boys. And some slow ball calls for a box kick from Charlie Rainbird. Bellamy doesn't get the take quite right. And there'll be a scrum to Gloucester. I was halfway through saying that Josh Bellamy hadn't done much today. I got cut off. He's obviously done some wonderful things. The creation of the try for Tom Humphreys, but he's very much a running fly half. Used to seeing him back himself and go on his own quite a lot when playing in the colours of Trinity School, but it's been a more creative display for others around him thus far, to Quintus' benefit as well. But I wonder, does he have a trick left up his sleeve for the final quarter that he's yet to play? Gloucester scrum a bit more solid, although it begins to crab to the side. Route 1 from Max Knight. Oh, big shot coming in from replacement Enoch Adai. Not much distance on the touch finder from the penalty, but Gloucester have possession. Jamie Fallon goes to the huddle to receive instructions. Bart Godsall, the big lighthouse, jumping at 2. TJ Fanalua behind him, who's been so good, but they don't use either of them. They go right to the back to the captain, who has a juggle, but he gets the ball under control. Big carry from Naquan Smith, linking up with Knight in the centres. Again, pressure on the scrum half before a ball is attempted to be floated over the top. It's picked off by Wickham. But there was a tackle off the ball from Harlequins. And Gloucester can advance themselves a little bit further down the field once more from the boot of Jones. Vanalua, the banker at the front. Nice bit of movement from that off the top, and replacement Ollie Thomas pumping the legs. Try scorer linking up with his other front row replacement Bez Williams. Better from Gloucester. Lots of numbers here to the left. If they can find the ball, they find the line and find 2 big Quins players. Naquan Smith puts his head down. Another big carry from Tom Ansom. Smith takes 3 Quins players around him to try and bring him down, and they do so, 4 metres shy. More big shots raining in from the Quins front row replacements. Aggressive stuff out there. Out the back we go and onto the boot. Jones competing in the air. Who's going to come away with it? Jones does eventually. Makes his way across the line. And it hasn't been his finest day, the England age group international, but he is going to leave Cobham with a try. Real dynamism from forwards and backs there from Gloucester. The first time really seeing them work in harmony. And with 2 tall Gloucester players out on the right flank, the crossfield kick was certainly the option, and Jones was the man to apply the finish. Well, the try was nice, but the conversion almost better. Brilliant kick. Brilliant conversion from the try scorer. Gloucester up to 14 points. Probably not enough time to overturn the deficit, but finding their form late in the game here, and the replacements have been impactful. That's Fallon getting another involvement. Good charge down, and Lucas Schmidt is quickest to react, and he has the offload that goes to Curry. Oh, he won't want to look back at that. It was brilliant work in tandem from the second row and number 8. The charge down, Schmid scooping to collect and charge towards the line, and then the wherewithal to find the offload. All Curry had to do was catch and finish it. But pressure still on Gloucester. They're put in, but defending a scrum on their 5 metre line. Penalty to Quins. Well, Wickham taps. Bellamy's calling for it to go outside. He thinks he sees an opportunity himself, but he gets wrapped up. Penalty conceded at the breakdown as well. Well, he had so many jerseys out wide screaming for the ball. He backed himself. But Gloucester get the penalty and they clear the decks just beyond the 22. TJ Fanalua, safe as houses up there in the Cobham skies. Smith being deployed increasingly in the midfield off that line-out ball, using to set up the Gloucester attacks. And they make their way beyond the 22. Well, we haven't seen Gloucester go to the boot, despite having the wind behind their backs in this second half, and Jack Anstey is weaving and stepping and eventually well tackled by Max Knight. Zach Stevenson, one of the Gordon Schools boys, 3 from Harlequins A School involved today. And that is a beautiful instinctive tap from Bellamy. Smid is a distributor on this occasion, and Quinn's seeking out space on the right flank. Oh, if the chip had found space in field, that could have been a try for the highlight reel. But just off the side of the boots, and a line out to Gloucester. So 34-14, all Gloucester can realistically hope for from this position is maybe a try bonus point. They've got 2, so they need to get a third quick. And with that, they would move into within 7 points for a losing bonus point to boot. For Quins, they'll want to repel the red jerseys from their try line and probably enhance their lead. Number of fresh faces on. 1, Kit Temperley, wearing 22, just outside Sean Kerr. 1 to watch from Epsom College, rediscovering his form after that ACL injury. But a really, really promising running back. He doesn't get it on this occasion because Byrne receives it and he gives it to Anstey, and it'll be the simplest of finishes for the replacement. Slick hands, creates a simple finish. Quinn's crossing again. Well, finally, Bellamy finds the kick that he's been looking for all afternoon. A beauty from the far touchline. Quins enhance their lead further. (41-14) minutes remaining. But certainly the commitment not dying from Theo Curry there, leaping through the air and finding an unorthodox way of batting the ball back. Well, the replacements from Quins have been all power since coming on. In fact, both benches making a real impact. Good to see Fanalua hard at work again. Just shaped for a kick there for a moment, but instead kept the ball in hand. This time, Gloucester go to the boot. And that is a very nicely judged kick from Max Knight to pin Quins back. They go quickly. Matabalavu is felled as he looks to go on a canter, drawing a few gasps from the touchline. Big hit. Jones in the space that he loves, but he can't get free of Matabalavu, who's up and doing the defensive work now. Oh, more shots coming in. Replacement hooker on hooker, Adai on Fallon. Really fiercely contested in all departments now. Ruck, tackles, right to the very last minute for both sets of boys. Bellamy finds Byrne. Byrne almost finds the gap. Well, Curry still working very hard indeed. There's Temperley. Counter ruck is so strong from Gloucester here. They go right through those Quins boys in the breakdown. Ball becomes unplayable, so Gloucester get the scrum put in. But that'll be the final action of the half and of the game. A resounding victory for Harlequins, 41-14. The match finishes up. Some very attractive tries in there for Harlequins against a callow Gloucester side who had their moments but just lacked the cohesion and consistency to take their opportunities in full. A fabulous game here at Cobham RFC, and the first of a glut of academy fixtures that we'll be bringing to you on the Harlequins YouTube as well. Next week it is the turn of Exeter to come to Surrey, and we'll be looking forward to bringing you that one. And then we're down to the Wreck for Bath away, and then into more games in February. So Quins get their first win of this under-18 Premiership Rugby League campaign up and running and on the ledger. And there's plenty of promise from that performance. Brilliant tries from Tom Humphreys, Lucas Friday, and a lovely slick bit of passing action to give Jack Anstey the easiest of dot downs to close out the match. The Quins coaches will be happy. Thanks to all of you for tuning in, be you Gloucester, Quins or neutral fans. As I said, we'll be bringing all the under-18s action to you live and down the stream. So we look forward to hosting you next week, where you get the opportunity to see the next stars of the Premiership game here with Harlequins taking on Exeter. However, enjoy the rest of your Saturday afternoons, and we will see you again.